back for another review. Let's take a look at Mastermind Creations' Spartan today. A lot of people have been giving this figure flack for being underwhelming and the tank mode not being as, frankly, awesome as we may have wanted. I feel like that's kind of undue, though, because you can't really fault Mastermind Creations for going for a fairly unique, albeit very metal sluggy, design for the alt mode. Frankly, I really like the alt mode. Yeah, the treads are static and they're just molded plastic and there's no wheels or anything on the underside, so the figure just kind of rubs along the ground when you move him. But for me, while not amazing, this is probably the definitive impactor that we've gotten so far. Granted, I know somewhere between jack and shit about Impactor outside of his characterization in Last Stand of the Wreckers because I don't read the comics or any comic that he's been in. That said, Wreckers. I'm always going to buy pretty much every Wreckers toy that's put out unless I can't afford it or it's complete crap. And the first one of those is the reason why I haven't bought the Fans Project Roadbuster or his minions that can armor him up, which is a weird thing, or Fans Project's Broadside analog. I like this tank mode. Yeah, the turret is largely static, and you can really only wiggle it from side to side because of the way the pistons connect here and here, but if you don't like that, you can just disconnect the pistons and have a fully rotating turret. It's really simple. Plus, the gun still moves up and down. Whenever I look at this mode, though, now, I can't not see a robotic, futuristic duck tank thing. And I blame the mighty Grimlock for that. Bisto Yeti pointed out in his initial video on Spartan here that mighty Grimlock had said that, and I can't not see that now. Stu, I hate you. Oh, God. By the way, shout out to Bisto Yeti and Mighty Grimlock. If you're not subbed to either of them, what are you doing? Links will be below. Anyhow, just a nicely detailed tank mode. I love the silver detailing on the other side of the turret. Nice bit of yellow accenting around the turret and the main gun. Nice detailing there on the actual pistons and that section right there. And he's just really nicely detailed all throughout. So, let's go to the close-ups. And you can see better just the great detailing throughout this figure. I'm really tempted to, at some point, grab one of my Gundam markers. Those little detailings right there for either of the guns. If you don't like how the guns look, you can just open up these panels, slide them in, and go like that. Personally, though, I kind of prefer having the gun down in this mode. Just arms them up a little bit more. To address the elephant in the room, yes, these pieces do pop off fairly easily, but what I found is if you keep these sections, which will become the arms, more or less even with the help of this little Lego piece, then these won't actually pop off as easily. I'll link you guys to the transformation video that Mastermind Creations did for Spartan here, and that helped me out a lot. I had already figured out the rotations that needed to be done in the legs here, but I had completely missed the situation with these two panels right here. So, that will be linked below or annotated somewhere around in this video for you guys to check out. And massive shout out to Mastermind Creations for doing that. That's a very pro move that they do that. I have to say, as my first Mastermind Creations figure, yeah, I know, it took me a long time, I'm really impressed by Spartan here. He's got some definite heft to him, he's got a very good build quality to him, and he's just a nice figure. He's definitely got a lot of beef to him, and he's very solid, which I really dig. So I think that's all there is to say about this mode here, so let's take a look at the robot mode. Alrighty, and here we have Spartan, or not Impactor, in his robot mode. He does have a couple minor issues, the most glaring of which for me is these sections right here, where, because they just kind of friction rest on the grooves on the elbows right there, you do have to firmly press them on and then have your finger on when you go to pose the arms. But for me, that's not as annoying of an issue as it is for a lot of people that have already reviewed Spartan here. I don't mind having to put a little bit of extra pressure on that plate. Of course, there is the option where you can just pop them off and leave them off of him in this mode if you don't like how they look on him. But then you have to worry about losing them, and they are kind of necessary for the alt mode. So I generally just pop them off for transformation, but then tab them back on either when I have him in robot mode or once I have him in a pose. My only other gripe with Spartan here is that there's that bit of a gap behind the head. I'm not going to look at him from the top down, but I feel like something could have been done right in here to hide this section, because you can clearly see inside the upper part of the torso. Posability for Spartan or Impactor here is actually pretty dang awesome. You've got 360 at either shoulder. You've got a bicep swivel. Bearing in mind this piece, you do have a nice double-jointed elbow. You have a bend there and a bend there. You've got swivel at what technically is the wrist joint for each of his weapons. Same thing on here on the actual wrist. In here, in this ab section, you've got two rotational joints. You've got one right there above my finger, above that notch, and then you've got one at the waist. You've got out about that far at the legs. You've got back about that far because of this piece at the legs. You've got that far forward due to the molding of that piece. You've got thigh swivel. You've got a very cool deep knee bend, about 90 degrees. And you've got foot posability, specifically an ankle tilt, and a toe tilt, so he can stand on his tippy toes. and you've got a ball joint for the head, so it's pretty dang expressive. And if you really want to, you can also pose the cannon like this. The cannon itself can be stored here, which is its comically accurate, no pun intended, position. You can pose it up and down. You can post it on the other shoulder if you want. Or if you really want to, and I've seen a couple people do this in their reviews, the port for alt mode is down there in this gap. You can just slot the cannon down there. And once you get it in there, it's a little bit fiddly to do so. You can have that kind of thing going on, which doesn't look entirely bad, but I'm much more inclined to have it stored on either shoulder. Let's go to the close-ups and talk accessories. So Spartan here, I fully acknowledge, is not the best figure to do this format with because he is a bigger figure. He's about a Voyager class. So let's talk the accessories that Spartan comes with. He comes with his trademark harpoon spear thing, which can port onto either arm, but this is the one that it's on in all artwork ever of Impactor. But he also comes with, and you can easily swap these out, a drill hand, which actually looks really cool on him. And I've actually posed him with it quite frequently. But then, if you're not really feeling either of those for whatever reason, he does also come with a normal hand that you can just port on its own into that socket right in there and still get that wrist rotation and wiggle waggle. He also comes with, and you can hold it in this hand right here, this little gun, because he totally needed another weapon. It's labeled on the packaging as a stun gun, and it's nicely detailed. I like it. There's your close-up on the head sculpt, and whoo, Mastermind Creations hit it out of the... There's your close-up on the head sculpt, and oh my gosh, I love this head sculpt. You've got a little bit of the smirking grin that Impactor is known for, and I just love the paint in the eyes. I don't know how well it's coming across, but there's almost a two-tone layering of green in there in the eyes, because the edges are darker, and then you've got this really, like, vibrant green towards the center, which is just really wonderfully done. I love the little bit of black detailing there on the top on either side, too. That's just nicely done. The detailing is just great all throughout for Impactor. He's just really nicely done. One thing you can do, and I will fully admit it is completely ridiculous to do so, but why not do it if you have the option to? You still can slide out these side guns for the tank mode because they're on his feet in robot mode, and you give him foot guns. Why not? It adds a little bit of fun to an already really cool figure. Is it completely goofy and utterly ridiculous? Yes. But that's not going to stop me from doing it from time to time, if I'm being completely honest. So, the final verdict is definitely a strong recommendation for Mastermind Creations Spartan here. Yes, the tank mode is a little bit static, but he is very fun to fiddle around with in both modes, in my opinion, and he's exceptionally well done. So, go out and get this figure if you can. He is great. This has been the video review for Mastermind Creations Spartan, aka Not Impactor. As always, I'm Phoenix. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.